I'm Angelo Batio from Metal Method Productions. In my first instructional program, Speed Kills, I told you that I'm going to give you the keys to the Lamborghini. Well, nothing's changed. I'm still going to give you the keys. In Speed Kills 3, we are going to cover advanced concepts on the guitar and find out the whys where I'm concerned, so you can find out the hows or the how-to where you are concerned to vastly improve your playing. For example, I used to ask myself, why can I play so fast and clean? Why have I never had a hand injury? Why can I take minimal time to warm up and still play at full speed right away? I found out these answers when I taught guitar. I haven't taught privately since I graduated from college, only instructional programs like this. But I found out that helping other people was a win-win situation. Nobody does nothing for nothing. I found out that if I could honestly answer these questions and questions my student had about guitar technique, I not only helped the student, but I helped myself. I have a saying that I came up with that I live by. It is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. The first thing I'm going to show you in Speed Kills 3 are a few of my warm-up exercises. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take those exercise motives and use them to create riffs up and down the fretboard. Another thing that I'm going to show you in Speed Kills 3 are string skipping tapped arpeggios. In the first Speed Kills program, I had the monster lick, but we have two of them here. Before we get to the exercises, I'm going to play a track for you that I love to play. I'm going to play the blues.
All guitar tab for this lesson appears on screen. Please use your DVD player's remote to pause the animated tab to work on individual exercises. Chapter points are placed throughout this program. Use your DVD player's remote to move forward to the next chapter or back to the previous chapter. This allows you to review and play along with each exercise. Additional material is stored on this disc that can be accessed on any computer that has a DVD drive. Simply insert this disc into the drive and choose to explore the disc instead of to play the DVD. Click on the file called tab.htm to print a copy of the guitar tab. Tab.htm will also give you access to animated tab to play along with all exercises.
This program is in concert pitch, which means tuned to a standard A440. This is my basic practice regimen. I first start with the warm-ups in Speed Kills 2. After that, I use the exercises that I'm about to show you. These exercises are also great to use to make long extended runs. Exercise 1 is an exercise that uses the blues scale with alternate picking. What I want to do in this is warm up my fourth finger immediately. And I found that this exercise not only warms up my fourth finger, but it uses the third finger as well. So I can sit there unamplified and just play like this. Now I recommend that you start on the 5th fret and play all the way up. When you see the exercise, we're going to start it on the 5th fret and then end on the 8th fret. But when I practice this in real life applications, I'll start playing it low, I'll move all the way up. Sometimes I'll play it high. I mix it up. I don't always play it the same way. Exercise 2 is a 3 notes per string Dorian blues exercise, and we're going to play it from A to C. Now when I play this, again, what I want to do immediately is warm up my fourth finger, because I found that once your fourth finger is warmed up, the other fingers seem to follow. And this exercise goes like this. Here are some words of wisdom from Mikey. Many times I will start these exercises on the 1st fret and play them all the way up to the 15th. Vary the places where you start and end. Don't always practice the same way. Be creative, mix things up. Exercise 3 is a 4 notes per string exercise in the key of E. Now I picked this because once I'm warmed up here, a lot of my notes, and I found out a lot of problems guitar players have when they play fast, is not playing low, but it's playing fast on the higher frets. So I designed this exercise to use not only 3 notes per string, but add that extra note, 4 notes per string, so it gives you a little variation in the kinds of patterns you play. Exercise 3 goes like this. What I wanted to talk about now are a few of the concepts that I've learned over the years when it comes to fretboard hand positioning. On my fretboard hand, what I try to do is have two different techniques. Like I said earlier, I have never ever had a hand injury, and that's because I patterned my guitar playing more after classical guitarists than rock guitarists. So what I do is I keep my thumb behind the neck and play perpendicular to the strings, so I have good hand positioning like this, versus say a blues style like this. I mean, look at your hand position. Walk around like that for about an hour, go, hello everybody, it hurts. So what I do is I shifted my hand like this, so it's a very natural motion and it doesn't hurt your wrist. I've also learned too that vibratoing in this technique is not so good. What I do when I vibrato is I switch it to old school. I put my thumb above, and I'm very good at vibratoing with my little finger, with my fourth finger. I can vibrato with any of them. But what I do is I shift it into a more old school blues position, play really hard, and shake the guitar. So that's the fretboard side. On the picking side, I've talked about this for a long time. How fast can you flick your thumb? Do not flick your thumb. I have found that over the years, my thinking has not changed. But one thing has changed. People say, well, every once in a while, I notice that you flick your thumb. But I can say this, and here is from years of experience and watching so many great guitarists. 99.99% of all the great guitarists have a picking motion that does not involve moving their thumb or their index finger. But when I play unamplified and just sit around and I do something like that, my thumb never moves. I found out when it does move is when I'm playing with amplifiers 99% of the time on a stage and I'm going for a sound, because instead of playing unamplified, you have no amplifier that reacts to the strings, but all of a sudden you're playing with volume and now your amp is interacting with the strings. And I found sometimes when I'm playing slow, I have to move my thumb to kind of adjust my hand to mute the strings. This is very important. People ask, do you play with your elbow or your wrist? Both. It's not one or the other. I have an extremely natural wrist motion. Again, it's why I've never had a hand injury. My wrist moves like this. It's comfortable, it's natural, it's a way a human moves their wrist. So I can say this with confidence. Who cares if you use your elbow or your wrist? It's unimportant. The only thing that's important is to minimize the motion of your thumb and your index finger. Don't flick your thumb. Exercise 4 is a riff that I use in a song of mine on my Planet Gemini